The reluctant ambassador. The crystalline spires of Keldar Prime glittered in the light of twin suns, their iridescent surfaces a stark contrast to the stormy expression on Princess Zira's face. She stood before the High Council, her silvery skin shimmering with barely contained frustration as she faced down the stern gazes of the most powerful beings in the Keldari Empire. Absolutely not. Elder Vex's voice boomed through the chamber, his crest flaring a deep crimson. No member of the royal family has ever set foot on a human vessel, let alone traveled aboard one. It's preposterous. Zira's own crest, a delicate fan of bioluminescent filaments, pulsed with determination. And that's precisely why I must do this, she countered, her voice steady despite the rapid beating of her twin hearts. Our people have isolated themselves for too long. If we're to forge a true alliance with the humans, we must understand them. And that starts with trust. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of protests and arguments. Zira stood her ground, her four eyes scanning the room, taking in the mix of outrage and concern on the faces of the elders. She had expected resistance, but the vehemence of their opposition surprised even her. High Councillor Zara, Zira's own grandmother, raised a hand for silence. The chamber fell quiet instantly, all eyes turning to the matriarch of the Keldari Empire. "Child," she began, her voice gentle but laden with centuries of wisdom, "your intentions are noble, but you underestimate the risks. Humans are unpredictable, volatile. Our treaties with them are tenuous at best." Zira stepped forward, her resolve strengthening. "All the more reason for this mission, grandmother. We've relied on reports and second-hand accounts for too long. If I am to one day lead our people, I need to see the universe through my own eyes, not just through the lens of our history." A murmur rippled through the council. Zira pressed her advantage. "The humans have extended an invitation for a diplomatic envoy. What better way to show our commitment to peace than by sending a member of the royal family?" Elder Vex scoffed. "And if it's a trap? If they mean to use you as a hostage or worse?" "Then they would have succeeded in proving everything we fear about them," Zira retorted. "But I don't believe that's the case. I studied their culture, their history. They're a young species, yes, but one with immense potential. We have much to learn from each other." High Councillor Zara studied her granddaughter for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Finally, she spoke. "You speak with the passion of youth, Zira, but also with wisdom beyond your years." She turned to address the council. "Perhaps it is time we embraced a new approach. I propose we put it to a vote." The next few minutes were tense as the council deliberated. Zira stood perfectly still, a skill honed through years of royal training, though inside she was a whirlwind of emotions. Finally, High Councillor Zara announced the result. "By a narrow margin, the council has agreed to your proposal, Princess Zira. You will travel as our ambassador aboard the human vessel. However," she added, her tone growing stern, "you will be accompanied by a contingent of our best guards, and you will check in regularly. At the first sign of danger, you will return immediately. Are these terms acceptable?" Zira bowed deeply, her crest glowing with a mix of relief and excitement. "They are, High Councillor. Thank you for your trust. I will not let our people down." As the council session adjourned, Zira strode out of the chamber, her mind already racing with preparations. She had won a significant victory, but she knew the real challenge was yet to come. Across the galaxy, aboard the United Earth starship Horizon, Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, gazing out at the vast expanse of space. The ship hummed with activity as the crew prepared for their unprecedented mission. Captain Her XO, Commander Jack Chen, approached with a data pad. "We've received final confirmation from Keldar Prime. The princess is indeed coming aboard." Elena nodded, a mix of excitement and apprehension churning in her stomach. "Well, I'll be damned. They actually agreed to it. Looks like all that diplomatic wrangling paid off." "Are we sure we're ready for this, Captain?" Jack asked, voicing the concern Elena knew was on everyone's mind. "We've never had a Keldari on board before. let alone royalty. Elena turned to face her crew, her expression resolute. Ready or not, this is happening. And it's more than just a diplomatic mission. This is our chance to show the Keldari who we really are. Not just the stories they've heard, not just the official reports, but the heart and soul of humanity. She walked to the center of the bridge, her voice carrying to every corner. I know there's been tension between our peoples. I know there's fear on both sides. But this princess is taking a huge risk coming here. She's extending a hand in friendship. It's up to us to grasp it. The crew straightened, inspired by their captain's words. Elena continued, "We're going to show her the best of humanity. Our courage, our compassion, our ingenuity. This isn't just about avoiding an incident. It's about forging a true connection. Who knows? We might just be laying the groundwork for a friendship that will change the course of both our civilizations." As her words sank in, Elena could see the shift in her crew's demeanor. The apprehension was still there, but now it was mixed with determination and even excitement. "All right, people," she clapped her hands together. "We've got a lot of work to do before our royal guest arrives. Let's make sure the horizon is in top shape. Chen, I want you to oversee the preparations for the princess's quarters. Work with Dr. Patel to ensure we're meeting all her biological needs. Lopez, run a full diagnostic on our translation systems. I don't want any miscommunications. Yoshida, beef up our security protocols. The Keldari are sending their own guards, but I want to make sure we're prepared for any contingency." As her crew sprang into action, Elena turned back to the view screen, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond. In a few days, those stars would include the shimmering form of a Keldari royal shuttle, and with it, the promise of a new era in human-Keldari relations. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity on both Keldar Prime and the Horizon. On the Keldari homeworld, Princess Zira immersed herself in last-minute studies of human culture and physiology. She pored over reports, watched human broadcasts, and even attempted to sample some human cuisine, a largely unsuccessful endeavor, given the vast differences in Keldari and human biology. Her personal guards, led by the stoic Commander Kale, drilled relentlessly, preparing for every possible scenario they might encounter on the human ship. Zira observed their preparations with a mix of appreciation and frustration. While she understood the need for caution, she couldn't help but feel that their paranoia was exactly the kind of attitude she was trying to change. As the day of departure drew near, Zira found herself in the royal gardens, seeking a moment of peace before the journey ahead. The bioluminescent flowers pulsed gently in the twilight, their soft glow a counterpoint to the vibrant colors of the setting suns. "I thought I might find you here," a familiar voice said. Zira turned to see her grandmother, High Counselor Zara, approaching. "Grandmother," Zira bowed her head respectfully. "I was just gathering your thoughts." Zara finished for her, a knowing smile on her face. It's a wise practice before any great endeavor. They stood in silence for a moment, watching as the gardens came to life in the growing darkness, the plants and creatures of Keldar Prime beginning their nightly luminescent display. "You know," Zara said at last, "when I was your age, the very idea of contact with other species was considered radical. We had just begun to explore beyond our own star system. The universe seemed so vast, so full of potential dangers." Zira listened intently. It was rare for her grandmother to speak of her younger days. "But it was also full of wonders," Zara continued. "The first time I saw a non-Keldari species, it changed everything. Suddenly, the universe wasn't just vast, it was diverse, complex, filled with life and cultures we had never imagined." She turned to face Zira, her expression serious. "That's the gift you're giving our people, Zira. The chance to see beyond our own world, our own preconceptions. It's a heavy responsibility, but one I believe you're ready for." Zira felt a lump form in her throat. "Thank you, grandmother. I won't let you down." Zara reached out, gently touching Zira's crest in a gesture of affection. "I know you won't. Just remember, true diplomacy isn't about never making mistakes. It's about how you recover from them, how you bridge the gaps of misunderstanding. Be patient, be open, but never forget who you are and what you represent. As the two stood there, bathed in the glow of Keldar Prime's nightlife, Zira felt a sense of calm settle over her. The journey ahead was daunting, but she was ready to face it. Aboard the Horizon, final preparations were underway. Captain Elena Reyes walked through the corridors of her ship, inspecting every detail. The normally utilitarian spaces had been modified with touches of Keldari aesthetics. Bioluminescent panels that mimicked the natural light cycles of Keldar Prime, gravity adjustments to match the Keldari homeworld, even specially designed air filters to provide the precise atmospheric mix the princess was accustomed to. Looking good, Lopez. Elena nodded approvingly as she passed the chief engineer, who was making final adjustments to the environmental controls in the princess's quarters. How's the rest of the ship holding up with these modifications? Lopez wiped his brow, leaving a smudge of grease. We're pushing some systems to their limits, Captain, but we're holding steady. I've got extra teams on standby just in case. Good thinking. Elena patted him on the shoulder. Keep it up. As she continued her rounds, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in her crew. They had taken on this unprecedented challenge with determination and creativity, finding solutions to problems they had never encountered before. Her final stop was the bridge, where Commander Chen was overseeing a series of communication tests with Keldar Prime. How are we looking, Jack? Elena asked as she stepped onto the bridge. Chen looked up from his console, a cautiously optimistic expression on his face. So far, so good, Captain. We've established a secure channel with the Keldari Royal Communications Network. We should be able to maintain constant contact throughout the princess's stay. Excellent, Elena nodded. She turned to address the bridge crew. All right, people, this is it. In a few hours, we'll be making history. I know we've all worked hard to prepare for this moment, but remember, no plan survives first contact. We're going to face challenges we haven't anticipated, but that's what we do best. We adapt, we overcome, we push forward. Let's show the princess what humanity is really made of. A chorus of "Aye, Captain" echoed across the bridge. As Elena took her seat in the captain's chair, she felt a familiar mix of excitement and nerves. This mission could change everything, for the Horizon, for humanity, for the entire galaxy. Whatever happened next, there was no going back. As the hours ticked down to the princess's arrival, both the Horizon and Keldar Prime buzzed with anticipation. A new chapter in interstellar relations was about to begin, and at its heart, a human captain and a Keldari princess, each prepared to take a leap into the unknown. Cosmic convergence. The sleek Keldari royal shuttle glided through space, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Inside, Princess Zira sat rigidly, her 4 eyes fixed on the approaching human vessel. The Horizon loomed larger in the viewscreen, its design so alien to Keldari sensibilities that Zira felt a momentary wave of vertigo. By the cosmic weave, Commander Kel muttered, his crest flickering with unease. It looks like a labyrinth of metal and wires. How does such a construct even function in the void? Zira leaned forward, fascination overriding her nervousness. That labyrinth represents centuries of human innovation, Kel. Each part serves a purpose, even if we don't understand it yet. As they neared the Horizon's docking bay, Zira's personal AI assistant, ARRA, Advanced Royal Intelligence Assistant, chimed in. Princess, I've completed my analysis of the Horizon's outer structure. Despite its chaotic appearance, the ship's design is remarkably efficient. Human engineering principles prioritize function over form in ways our architects might find enlightening. Zira nodded, appreciating AROI's unbiased assessment. The AI, a gift from her grandmother, was housed in a small, iridescent orb that hovered near Zira's shoulder. Its presence was a comfort in the face of the unknown. The shuttle glided into the Horizon's docking bay with barely a tremor. Zira took a deep breath, her chromatophores rippling with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Well," she said, standing smoothly, "shall we meet our hosts?" As the airlock cycled, Zira focused on maintaining her royal composure. The doors slid open, revealing a reception party of humans led by a woman in a crisp uniform adorned with gold insignia. Captain Elena Reyes stepped forward, her hand extended in what she hoped was a universally welcoming gesture. "Princess Zira, welcome aboard the Horizon. I'm Captain Elena Reyes. It's an honor to have you with us." Zira hesitated for a split second before extending her own hand, marveling at the alienness of the five-fingered appendage. "The honor is mine, Captain Reyes. Your willingness to host our delegation speaks volumes about humanity's commitment to intergalactic cooperation." As their hands met, both leaders felt a small jolt, not physical, but a sudden realization of the historic nature of this moment. Two species, separated by vast gulfs of space and culture, coming together in a gesture of peace. The spell was broken by a sudden commotion behind them. One of the Keldari guards had bumped into a human crew member, causing both to stumble. In the zero-gravity environment of the docking bay, this led to a somewhat comical scene of flailing limbs and startled exclamations. Without missing a beat, Elena tapped her comm badge. "Activate localized gravity field, docking bay section C, 0.8 Earth standard." Immediately, everyone gently settled to the floor. Elena offered an apologetic smile. "My apologies, Princess. We should have anticipated the gravity difference. We'll make sure to adjust the settings throughout the ship for your comfort." Zira was impressed by the captain's quick thinking and the ship's apparent ability to manipulate gravity on a localized level. "No apologies necessary, Captain. Such hiccups are to be expected in first encounters. Your solution was most elegant." As they moved from the docking bay into the ship proper, Zira couldn't help but marvel at the interior of the Horizon. The corridors were a fascinating blend of utilitarian design and surprising warmth. Holographic displays flickered with information in scripts she didn't recognize, while the walls themselves seemed to pulse with hidden energy. "Your ship is remarkable, Captain," Zira commented as they walked. "I admit I had certain preconceptions about human technology. It's clear I have much to learn." Elena beamed with pride. "Thank you, Princess. The Horizon represents the pinnacle of human engineering and innovation. But I'm sure we have just as much to learn from Keldari technology. I hope this journey will be an opportunity for mutual exchange and growth." As they continued their tour, Zira noticed something odd. Periodically, small robots would zip past them, carrying out various tasks. What caught her attention was how the human crew interacted with them, patting them affectionately, chatting with them as if they were pets or colleagues. "Captain," Zira inquired, her curiosity piqued. "These small machines, are they sentient?" Elena chuckled. "Not quite, Princess. These are our ship's AI-driven maintenance bots. We call them scurries. They're not fully sentient, but they do have adaptive learning algorithms that allow them to develop personalities of a sort. The crew tends to get attached to them." As if on cue, a scurry bot zoomed up to Elena, chirping excitedly. Elena knelt down, her face softening. "What is it, Sparky?" The bot projected a holographic display showing a minor fluctuation in one of the ship's systems. "Ah, good catch. Alert engineering, priority level 3. The bot chirped again and zipped off. Zero watched this interaction with fascination. The idea of forming emotional bonds with non-sentient machines was utterly foreign to Keldari culture. Yet she could see the practical benefits. The crew seemed to treat the ship itself as a living entity, each playing a part in its overall health. As they approached the bridge, Elena turned to Zero with a smile. "Princess, I hope you don't mind, but we've prepared a little surprise to welcome you properly to the Horizon." Intrigued, Zira nodded her assent. The bridge doors slid open, revealing a sight that took her breath away. The entire forward view screen had been transformed into a stunning replica of Keldar Prime's night sky. The bioluminescent constellations of her home world shimmered before her, each star pulsing in perfect harmony. It was as if a piece of home had been transported across the galaxy. How is this possible? Zira breathed, her composure slipping in the face of such an unexpected and touching gesture. Elena's eyes twinkled. We combined our holographic technology with the data from Caldari's star charts. Our science team worked around the clock to get the bioluminescent patterns just right. We wanted you to feel at home, even so far from Keldar Prime. Zira felt a lump in her throat. This simple act of thoughtfulness did more to bridge the gap between their species than any official treaty ever could. "Thank you, Captain," she said softly. This means more than I can express." As Zira gazed at the familiar constellations, Aora quietly informed her, "Princess, I'm detecting a 99.97% accuracy rate in this recreation. The human attention to detail is impressive." The moment was interrupted by a sudden alarm blaring through the ship. Red lights began flashing, and the crew sprang into action. "Report." Elena barked, all warmth gone from her voice, replaced by steely command. Her XO, Commander Chen, responded immediately. "Captain, we're detecting a massive energy surge from an unknown source. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." On the view screen, the serene image of Keldar Prime's night sky was replaced by a swirling vortex of energy, growing larger by the second. "Evasive maneuvers," Elena ordered, but it was too late. The vortex engulfed the horizon, bathing everything in blinding light. Zira felt a strange tingling sensation throughout her body. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was Captain Reyes reaching out to steady her, their hands almost touching as reality itself seemed to bend around them. When the light faded and the alarms fell silent, the crew of the Horizon found themselves in a place that defied explanation. Outside the view screen was not the familiar starfield they expected, but a swirling nebula of impossible colors, punctuated by what looked like fragments of different realities. As Zira and Elena regained consciousness, they realized with shock that they could understand each other perfectly, without the need for translators. Somehow, the strange phenomenon had linked their minds, breaking down the barriers of language and culture in ways they never thought possible. "Captain," Zira said, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and awe, "I believe we may have stumbled upon something far greater than a simple diplomatic mission." Elena nodded, her eyes wide as she took in their new surroundings. "Princess, I think you might be right. Whatever this is, whatever's happened to us, I have a feeling it's going to change everything." As the crew of the Horizon and the Caldari delegation grappled with their new reality, one thing became clear. Their journey had only just begun, and the universe had far more in store for them than they could have ever imagined. Quantum entanglement of souls. The Horizon drifted through the kaleidoscopic expanse of the unknown dimension, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. Inside, the merged minds of Princess Zira and Captain Elena Reyes grappled with their new reality, their thoughts intertwining like quantum particles in a cosmic dance. "This is unprecedented," Zira's voice echoed in Elena's mind, tinged with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "Our consciousness, it's entangled," Elena finished, feeling the alien princess's emotions as if they were her own. "Like we've become living quantum computers." Around them, the crew and Caldari delegation were experiencing similar phenomena. Humans and aliens alike found themselves linked in ways that defied conventional understanding, barriers of language and culture dissolving in the face of direct mental connection. Commander Kale, the stoic Caldari guard, suddenly burst into laughter, clutching his sides. "By the cosmic weave, is this what you humans called a dad joke?" he exclaimed, tears streaming from all four eyes. Nearby, Lieutenant Rodriguez grinned sheepishly, his mind inadvertently broadcasting a lifetime's worth of groan-worthy puns. As the initial shock wore off, the implications of their situation began to sink in. This wasn't just a diplomatic mission anymore. They had stumbled upon something that could revolutionize intergalactic relations, and potentially reshape the very fabric of reality itself. HFY, Zira's AI assistant, chirped to life, its holographic form shimmering with new, complex patterns. Fascinating. It appears the quantum entanglement effect has enhanced my processing capabilities exponentially. I'm now able to interface directly with the Horizon's systems, and oh my. What is it? ARIA. Zira and Elena asked in unison, their merged minds amplifying their concern. I'm detecting multiple temporal and spatial anomalies throughout this dimension. It seems we're at a nexus point of realities. Different timelines, parallel universes, they're all converging here. As if to illustrate Aria's point, the view screen flickered, showing glimpses of alternate realities. In one, they saw a version of Earth where the Caldari had made first contact centuries earlier, the two species evolving together into a harmonious galactic civilization. In another, a war-torn galaxy where humans and Caldari fought on opposite sides of a devastating conflict. We need to find a way back to our own reality, Elena said, her captain's instincts kicking in despite the surreal circumstances. But we can't ignore the opportunity we've been given, the knowledge we could gain here. Zira nodded, her thoughts aligning with Elena's. Agreed, but we must tread carefully. The power to glimpse other realities comes with great responsibility. Suddenly, the ship shuddered, alarms blaring to life. Captain, Commander Chen's voice cut through the mental chatter. We're detecting a massive object on approach. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. The view screen shifted, revealing a colossal structure that defied description. It was as if someone had taken fragments of different celestial bodies, planets, stars, black holes, and fused them together into a sprawling, impossible megastructure. By all that's holy, Zira breathed, her awe resonating through the entire crew. Could it be? The Nexus Citadel. The what now? Elena asked, though part of her mind already knew the answer, courtesy of their shared consciousness. A myth among my people, Zira explained, her excitement building. A place where all realities converge, governed by beings who've transcended time and space. I never thought it could actually exist. As they watched, a beam of energy shot out from the Nexus Citadel, enveloping the horizon in a shimmering field. The ship began to move, drawn inexorably towards the massive structure. Engines are non-responsive, Lieutenant Yoshida reported from the helm, her fingers dancing over the controls. Whatever's got us, it's more powerful than anything in our arsenal. Elena and Zira shared a look, their merged minds coming to a decision simultaneously. All hands, Elena announced, her voice carrying the weight of both human determination and Caldari wisdom, prepare for first contact. Again. As the Horizon was pulled into a cavernous docking bay within the Nexus Citadel, the crew and Caldari delegation gathered in the ship's conference room. The air was thick with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. "All right, people," Elena addressed the assembled group, her words carrying the dual authority of herself and Zira. "We're about to step into unknown territory. Whatever we find out there, remember, we're no longer just humans or Caldari. We're representatives of a new kind of unity." Zira stepped forward, her chromatophores shimmering with determination. "Our minds may be linked, but our strengths lie in our diversity. Each of us brings unique perspectives and abilities to this encounter. We must use them wisely." As they prepared to disembark, Aria's holographic form expanded, enveloping each crew member in a soft glow. "I've analyzed the atmosphere outside. It's breathable, but I'm detecting chronal particles that may have unpredictable effects. I've created a temporal shield for each of you. It should provide some protection." With a hiss, the Horizon's airlock opened, revealing a vista that stretched the boundaries of comprehension. The interior of the Nexus Citadel was a labyrinth of shifting geometries, where stairs led to ceilings that became floors, and corridors looped back on themselves in impossible ways. And there, waiting for them, were the custodians of the Nexus. They were beings of pure energy, their forms constantly shifting between states of matter. One moment, they appeared humanoid. The next, they were swirling vortexes of light and dark. Their voices, when they spoke, resonated not just in the air, but in the minds of the Horizon's crew. "Welcome, temporal anomalies," the custodians intoned, their words carrying the weight of eons. "Your arrival was foreseen, yet unexpected. A paradox, much like yourselves." Elena stepped forward, her mind linked with Zira's, forming a united front. "We come in peace, seeking understanding. Our peoples, humans and Keldari, are on the brink of a new era of cooperation. But this changes everything." The custodians pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Indeed, you stand at a crossroads of realities, young ones. The choices you make here will echo across countless timelines." Zira's scientific curiosity burned through their shared consciousness. "This place, can you show us more? Help us understand?" In response, the very fabric of reality around them shifted. The crew found themselves floating in a vast chamber, surrounded by swirling vortexes of time and space. Each vortex showed a different version of their universe, some eerily similar, others wildly divergent. "Behold the multiversal nexus," the custodians explained. "Here, all possibilities converge. We maintain the balance, ensuring no single reality dominates the others." As the crew marveled at the cosmic display, a disturbing pattern emerged. In many of the realities, they saw versions of Earth and Keldar Prime locked in devastating conflicts. Worlds burned, civilizations crumbled, all stemming from misunderstandings between humans and Keldari. "This is what could be," the custodians warned. "The path of conflict is well trodden across the multiverse. But you, that energy forms pulsed with intensity. You represent a unique convergence, a chance for a different path." The weight of this revelation settled heavily on Elena and Zira's shared consciousness. They realized that their mission had taken on a significance far beyond what they had ever imagined. The fate of not just their universe, but countless others, hinged on the bonds they forged here. "We understand." Elena and Zira spoke as one, their merged minds processing the cosmic implications. "But how can we ensure our reality doesn't fall into the same patterns of conflict?" The custodians' forms shimmered, coalescing into a swirling vortex of knowledge. "We offer you a choice. We can send you back to your reality with your memories intact, armed with the knowledge of what could be. Or, Commander Chen prompted, his mind linked with the others, sharing in the weight of the moment. "Or we can grant you a fraction of our power, the ability to see and influence the threads of probability to guide your civilizations towards harmony. But beware, such power comes at a great cost. The responsibility would be immense, and the temptation to manipulate events for personal gain ever present." The conference room of the Horizon fell silent as the crew grappled with this monumental decision. The fate of multiple universes hung in the balance, resting on the shoulders of a group of explorers who had set out on what they thought would be a simple diplomatic mission. Elena and Zira, their minds still merged, faced each other. In that moment, they didn't need words. They saw in each other the same determination, the same hope for a better future, and the same willingness to bear the burden of responsibility. "We choose," they began, their voices resonating with the combined will of human and Keldari. But before they could finish, alarms blared throughout the Nexus Citadel. The swirling vortexes of reality began to fluctuate wildly, and the custodians' forms flickered with urgency. "A temporal incursion," the custodians announced, their voices tinged with something the crew had never expected to hear from such advanced beings: fear. Someone is attempting to breach the barriers between realities. The delicate balance of the multiverse is at risk. As chaos erupted around them, Elena, Zira, and the crew of the Horizon found themselves facing a threat not just to their own reality, but to the very fabric of existence itself. Their diplomatic mission had become a fight for the fate of the multiverse, and the true test of their newfound unity was about to begin. Chronos unbound. The Nexus Citadel shuddered, reality fracturing around them like shattered glass. Through the cracks, Elena and Zira glimpsed nightmarish visions of alternate timelines colliding, entire galaxies blinking out of existence. "We need to act now." Elena's voice rang out, amplified by her mental link with Zira. "Custodians, what can we do to stop this incursion?" The energy beings flickered anxiously. "The intruder seeks the Chronos engine, the heart of the Citadel. If they gain control, they could rewrite all of reality." Zira's mind raced, calculations and strategies flowing through their shared consciousness. "We need to split up. One team to protect the engine, another to track down the intruder." As if in response to their thoughts, a Horizon's crew and Keldari guards seamlessly organized themselves. Their mind meld allowed for instantaneous communication and coordination. "Commander Chen, take half the team and secure the Chronos engine," Elena ordered. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, you're with me and the princess. We're going hunting." Aria's holographic form expanded, enveloping each team member in a shimmering field. "I've enhanced your temporal shields. They should offer some protection against chronal distortions." As the teams split off, reality continued to warp around them. Corridors stretched impossibly long, then snapped back like rubber bands. Gravity fluctuated wildly, forcing the crews to adapt on the fly. Elena, Zira, and their team navigated the chaos, following traces of temporal energy left by the intruder. They rounded a corner and froze, confronted by a sight that defied explanation. Before them stood a being that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. One moment it appeared human, the next Keldari, then something else entirely. Its form rippled with conflicting timelines, a walking paradox. What are you?" Zira demanded, her chromatophores flashing warning patterns. The being's laugh echoed across multiple frequencies. "I am the future and the past, the victor of a war you haven't fought yet, come to ensure my victory." Temporal terrorist, Elena spat, her mind linking with Zira's to process the implications. "You're trying to erase our timeline, aren't you?" "Erase? No, my dear captain. I'm here to perfect it, to guide our species to their true destiny, galactic dominance." With a gesture, the being unleashed a wave of chronal energy. Elena and Zira moved as one, their merged consciousness allowing them to anticipate and dodge the attack with inhuman precision. Meanwhile, at the Chronos engine, Commander Chen and his team faced challenges of their own. The massive machine pulsed with raw temporal power, reality warping violently around it. "We need to stabilize it," Chen shouted over the din. "Yoshida, reroute power to the containment fields. Kale, I need your Keldari tech to help regulate the quantum fluctuations." As the two teams fought their respective battles, a startling realization dawned on Elena and Zira. The temporal terrorist wasn't just a future version of one of their species, it was both. A merged being, the result of a failed attempt at the very unity they were striving for. "We are the culmination of your misguided efforts," the being sneered, sensing their understanding. A fusion of human ambition and Keldari power, born from desperation in a war-torn future. Elena and Zira shared a look, their merged minds coming to a decision. "Then we'll make sure that future never comes to pass," they declared in unison. Summoning all their combined willpower, they reached out with their minds, tapping into the quantum entanglement that linked them. The air crackled with psychic energy as they launched a mental assault on the temporal terrorist. Back at the Chronos engine, Chen's team made a breakthrough. By combining human ingenuity with Keldari biotechnology, they managed to create a feedback loop that began to stabilize the temporal core. "It's working," Yoshida exclaimed, "the timeline's stabilizing." As reality began to reassert itself, Elena and Zira pressed their advantage. Their mental link allowed them to anticipate the terrorists' every move, countering chronal attacks with precision. "You can't stop the inevitable," the being snarled, its form flickering more erratically. "Conflict between our species is written in the stars." "No," Elena and Zira responded, their voices and minds in perfect harmony. The future isn't written, it's created choice by choice, moment by moment. With a final, concentrated burst of psychic energy, they broke through the terrorists' defenses. The being howled, its paradoxical form unraveling as the stabilized timeline reasserted itself. As the temporal terrorist faded from existence, Elena and Zira found themselves back in the central chamber of the Nexus Citadel. The custodians hovered before them, their energy forms pulsing with what might have been approval. "You have faced the ultimate test," the custodians intoned. "In doing so, you have proven the strength of your unity and the potential of your combined species." Elena and Zira, still linked, stepped forward. "We understand now," they said. "The power you offered, the ability to see and influence probabilities, we already have it. Not as individuals, but together." The custodians shimmered in agreement. "Indeed, your mental link, born of quantum entanglement, gives you a unique perspective. Use it wisely." As the crew of the Horizon prepared to return to their own reality, they knew they were forever changed. The bond between humans and Keldari, forged in the crucible of cosmic crisis, would shape the future of both their species. "There will be challenges ahead," Zira mused as they boarded the ship. Elena nodded, feeling the princess's thoughts as her own. "But we'll face them together, not just as allies, but as something more." As the Horizon departed the Nexus Citadel, reality shimmered around them. They were returning to a universe full of possibility, armed with the knowledge that their unity was the key to a brighter future. The diplomatic mission that had started as a simple gesture of goodwill had become something far greater, the first step towards a new era of cosmic harmony, with humanity and the Keldari leading the way. Quantum diplomacy. As the Horizon re-emerged into normal space, the crew found themselves forever altered by their cosmic odyssey. The quantum entanglement that had linked their minds during the crisis in the Nexus Citadel had left a lasting imprint, creating a subtle psychic network that connected human and Keldari alike. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her consciousness still intertwined with Princess Zira's. The viewscreen showed the familiar starscape of their home galaxy, but to their enhanced perceptions, it seemed alive with possibility. "We're back," Elena breathed, a mix of relief and excitement coloring her thoughts. Zira nodded, her chromatophores shimmering with complex emotions. "Yes, but to a universe that will never be the same." As the crew readjusted to their own reality, they quickly realized the extent of their transformation. The ability to glimpse probability threads, a gift from their experience in the Nexus, allowed them to see potential futures branching out from every decision. "Captain," Commander Chen called out, his voice tinged with awe, "I'm picking up transmissions from both Earth and Keldar Prime. They're celebrating our return. Somehow, they know what we've accomplished." Elena and Zira shared a knowing look. The ripples of their actions in the Nexus had already begun to reshape their reality. "Attention all hands," Elena announced, her voice carrying the weight of their shared experience. "We're about to embark on a new mission, one that will shape the future of both our species. Are you ready to make history?" The response was immediate and unanimous, a chorus of minds united in purpose. As the Horizon set course for Earth, the crew began to prepare for what they knew would be a challenging task, convincing their respective governments and populations of the profound changes they had undergone and the importance of their newfound unity. Zira, utilizing her royal authority, opened a direct channel to the Keldari High Council. "Esteemed elders," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words, "I come to you not just as your princess, but as a harbinger of a new era. The mission aboard the human vessel has yielded results beyond our wildest expectations." On Earth, Elena faced a similar challenge. Standing before a hastily assembled panel of world leaders, she took a deep breath. "Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you will sound incredible, perhaps even impossible, but I assure you, every word is true." Over the next several hours, both Elena and Zira recounted their experiences in the Nexus Citadel, the threat they had faced, and the profound connection that now existed between their species. As they spoke, they could sense the ripples of disbelief, wonder, and fear spreading through their audiences. "You expect us to believe that you can now see the future," one skeptical Earth politician scoffed. Elena smiled, her enhanced perceptions allowing her to see the threads of probability surrounding the man. "Not the future, sir. Possibilities. For instance, I can see that in the next few moments, you're considering dismissing this entire briefing as a hoax. But there's also a thread where you ask for proof, which we are more than willing to provide." The politician's jaw dropped, his unspoken thoughts laid bare. On Keldar Prime, Zira faced similar skepticism. "This connection you speak of," Elder Vex intoned, his crest flaring with suspicion. "How can we be certain it won't be used against us? That the humans won't exploit it to read our minds, steal our secrets?" Zira's response was calm, but firm. "Elder Vex, right now you're considering recalling all Keldari citizens from human space as a precautionary measure. But there's another path, one where you see this as an opportunity for unprecedented cooperation and growth." As discussions continued on both planets, the crew of the Horizon found themselves at the center of a media frenzy. The story of their cosmic adventure had captured the imagination of both species, sparking a wave of interest in human-Keldari relations. Innovative entrepreneurs on both worlds began developing technologies to enhance the quantum link between the species. Within weeks, the first prototypes of key link devices hit the market, allowing humans and Keldari to experience a taste of the connection the Horizon's crew shared. But with this new era of openness came new challenges. Extremist groups on both planets decried the growing unity, seeing it as a threat to their species' purity or independence. Elena and Zira found themselves not just diplomats, but symbols of a controversial movement. "We knew this wouldn't be easy," Elena mused one evening, as she and Zira watched reports of protests from both worlds. Zira nodded, her thoughts aligning with Elena's. "But we also know it's necessary. The future we glimpsed in the Nexus, the war, the devastation, we can prevent it. We must." Their resolve was soon tested as a crisis erupted in a contested star system on the border of human and Keldari space. Both sides claimed ownership of a resource-rich planet, and tensions were rapidly escalating. In a bold move, Elena and Zira proposed a radical solution: joint colonization. Using their ability to see probability threads, they outlined a future where human ingenuity and Keldari bioengineering transformed the harsh planet into a thriving, shared world. "Imagine," Zira addressed a joint session of Earth and Keldari leaders, her words echoing across the quantum link that now connected their worlds, "a city where human architecture blends seamlessly with Keldari biostructures, where our children grow up side by side, learning from each other's strengths." Elena continued, building on Zira's vision. "We've seen the potential futures, both the devastating ones and the inspiring ones. This colony could be the first step towards the latter, a symbol of what we can achieve together." As the leaders deliberated, Elena and Zira could sense the shifting probabilities. Timelines of conflict began to fade, replaced by threads of cooperation and mutual growth. Finally, after days of tense negotiation, an agreement was reached. The contested planet would become Nueva Harmonia, the first joint human-Keldari colony. As construction began on Nueva Harmonia, other changes swept through both societies. The quantum link facilitated unprecedented scientific collaboration, leading to breakthroughs in medicine, technology, and space exploration. Cultural exchange flourished as well. Human artists incorporated Keldari bioluminescence into their works, while Keldari composers found inspiration in human music. A new form of art emerged, Q songs, that could only be fully experienced through the quantum link, blending thoughts, emotions, and sensory impressions into something entirely novel. Yet challenges remained. The crew of the Horizon, now hailed as heroes and visionaries, found themselves grappling with the weight of their responsibility. The ability to see probability threads was both a gift and a burden, forcing them to constantly consider the long-term consequences of their actions. Sometimes I wonder, Elena confided to Zira during a rare quiet moment, are we doing the right thing? Guiding our species like this? Zira's response came not in words, but in a flood of emotions and images, the beauty of Nueva Harmonia, the joy of children from both species playing together, the incredible advances they had achieved. You're right, Elena smiled, feeling Zira's unwavering conviction. We're not controlling the future. We're opening doors, showing what's possible. The choice to walk through them belongs to everyone. As the first anniversary of their return from the Nexus Citadel approached, Elena and Zira prepared for a historic broadcast. They would address both species simultaneously, reflecting on the progress made and the challenges that lay ahead. Standing side by side on the bridge of the horizon, now transformed into a symbol of unity, they faced the cameras, their minds linked, drawing strength from each other and from the crew around them. 1 year ago, they began in unison, their voices carrying across quantum channels to every corner of human and Caldari space. We embarked on a journey that changed not just our lives, but the course of our species' histories. As they spoke, sharing their vision of a united future, probability threads shimmered around them. The path ahead was not certain, not fixed, but with every word, every shared thought and emotion, they nudged their civilizations towards a brighter, more harmonious destiny. The diplomatic mission that had begun with an alien princess's insistence on traveling aboard a human ship had become something far greater, the dawn of a new era of cosmic cooperation, with humanity and the Caldari leading the way towards a future limited only by their shared imagination.